surf it, no waves.
All right, well, hey kids, welcome back. It is Thursday. You are at the Daily Snack. You know that. I hope you got a nice snack and you're comfy and you're ready to join with us. So first of all, I want to introduce Melissa, who is with me here today.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, kids.
Yeah, Melissa's here with us. And, we want to talk a little bit about this key to extreme living that we've been talking about, that disciples of Jesus help others even if it costs us. And we want to think about what that looks like in everyday life. I mean, we've talked about what it looked like in the Bible, and we looked at Rock and Scooter in the Winter Extreme X Factor games, but now it's time to make it real for us today. And so we've got a conversation that we're going to have with kids. We want you to invite you to come along with this as well. So as we're talking about these things, we want you to think of these things at home as well, because you might have different ideas from us. You might have better ideas than we have. And talk to your parents about it, talk to brothers and sisters about it, and just be thinking about this. So the name of this activity is called What Would It Be Like? Melissa, have you ever wondered what life would be like if something wasn't there?
Yes. And even thinking about this activity, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think we all have, right? Like, what if that mean person wasn't there? Or what if something was there? Like, what if I had a comfier pillow in my bed? Or, all kinds of stuff. So today, we want to talk about what the world would be like if we were missing some very important people. And I want you to think of some ways, Melissa, I want you to think of some ways, kids, that the world might be different, either good or bad, if we were missing some of these people. And these people have something in common. They're all helpers. So you ready? You ready to give this a whirl?
Let's do it.
Right. Melissa, kids, here's the first one. What would happen if there were no doctors around?
Oh my goodness, if there were no doctors, wow. We wouldn't have people to take care of us when we're sick, when we're hurt, when we are in pain. And even thinking about COVID, Jeff, really great example. We have so many doctors and nurses who are caring for patients. And what if we didn't have those doctors and nurses during COVID with so many people sick? So very, very grateful for all of our doctors and nurses who take care of us when we're sick, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes we don't like the doctor, right? Like sometimes they have to give us a shot, or sometimes they have to draw blood. I don't like when doctors do that, but I'm sure glad they're there to do it, because those are the things that keep us healthy, and so happy they're there to take care of everyone who has COVID. I was just thinking yesterday, not just doctors and nurses too. Imagine all the people at the hospital. Like, someone at that hospital is like the custodian, right? They have to clean up everything, and they're around sick people all day. And all those people who work in medical stuff, they are so needed. I don't always like what they do to me, but yeah, it would be a really rough world if everyone who got sick just had to fend for themselves. Oh.
Yes. And in thinking about the custodian, that just reminds me of all the gifts that people have. They have different gifts, different talents, different skills, and they bring all those skills, those talents, those gifts together to help. So everybody plays a part. And even thinking about our kids, right? They have different talents and gifts and skills, and we bring them together to help. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Everyone works together. They each have a role to play, but I'm so glad they all have that role of helping others. All right, here's the next one. I've got a list. I've got 3 more people on the list. The next one is police officers. What would happen if there were no police officers around?
Police officers are so important. If police officers weren't around, then who would protect us and who would keep us safe?
Yeah.
And today we happen to be filming on the day where there's a lot of weird stuff going on in DC and in the Capitol, and our police officers are there keeping people safe, protecting them, and that's super, super important. And we're really just thankful and grateful for those police officers.
Yeah, that's right. I saw so many police officers on TV today, and I was just thinking, man, if they weren't around at all, people could have gotten really badly hurt. Things could have gotten so badly out of control. I'm so glad that they were there to help others. Now, does that mean police officers are always perfect? They always get it right? Probably not.
Right.
Probably not. It's okay. I mean, sometimes we focus sometimes with police officers on the things they get wrong. You got to remember that they're there to help. They're people. They're going to mess up sometimes, just like we do. We don't always get things right. I don't always get things right. Maybe you do, Melissa, but I don't always get things right. Kids, you don't always get things right. But I don't want anyone to focus just on the bad parts of me. So it's really good to acknowledge that the world without police officers would be not so safe, I would think. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And we're all imperfect. We're all imperfect people. And I think in any profession, right? Not only with police officers, but in any profession, there's imperfect people because we are human beings. And it's up to us as Christians, as Jesus followers, to forgive and to love people. You know, and one day our kids are going to grow up. You kids are going to grow up. And you're going to be the doctors and the nurses and the police officers. And as Jesus followers, we want to be like Jesus. So we want to love people and we want to help people. And we want to be a really good, we really want to represent Jesus well out there. Jeff.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what we're talking about in this series, the extreme life that is following God. And last week we learned about how we listen and obey all the things that God tells us is pretty extreme. Helping others when it costs us, that's pretty extreme. All right, so we talk about doctors, we talk about police officers. What about teachers? What would happen if there were no teachers around?
Oh, wow. We appreciate teachers. Oh, my goodness. Who would teach us? How would we learn? How would we become the doctors and the nurses and the police officers if we didn't have teachers and we didn't have trainers? And I'm going to go back to COVID, Jeff. I think that was a good example, right? What if our teachers were not there? Thank goodness our parents kind of stepped in and helped, and then we had virtual learning and everything. But I think we got a touch of what would it be like if we didn't have teachers, and it wasn't a good feeling. So thankful and appreciative of our teachers.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes we don't always like our teachers, right? Like sometimes they give us homework and we're like, oh, homework, I don't want to do homework. And sometimes when we get ready for that like 13th Zoom meeting of the week, we're like, I don't want to be on Zoom anymore. But our teachers are there to help us. And man, imagine if we didn't have anyone to help us learn to read, help us learn to count money. I mean, all those things that we need to know. Our teachers, they're so patient with us. They're so good. I mean, they didn't become teachers because they wanted to be famous or make lots of money. They became teachers because they want to help others, even when it costs them. And they've got a tough job right now.
They do. Absolutely. Absolutely. So big shout out to all of our teachers out there.
Yeah. All right. Last one. How about friends? What would happen if there were no friends around?
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. Our friends are sort of like our family. So if we didn't have friends, you know, who would we play with? Who would we laugh with? Who would we, you know, who would sort of pick us up when we're not feeling good? Who, you know, our friends are just so important. They are.
Yeah, the last thing you said, picking us up when we're not feeling good. That's what I thought it was meant. Who would be there for me when I was sad and down and things weren't going good? That's when I need my friends the most. And so life without friends would be so sad. In fact, right now we experience it a little bit because we can't see our friends every time we want to see them. We don't get to go to school every day and go to recess with our friends. We don't get to come to kids' church and see our church friends. And so we experience a little bit of that right now, and it really stinks. I don't like not being able to see my friends every time I want to see them.
Yeah, and I can't wait until things get back to normal.
Oh, yeah.
To see our friends, and one day we'll be able to hug them again. And
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that day, Jeff. It's
yeah. All right, so one last question, Melissa. So what would it be like if no one ever helped anyone else?
Oh my goodness. I can't even fathom that, Jeff. If no one ever helps anyone else, life would be almost impossible, right? Because we can't do everything ourselves. So we have to just continue just focusing on being helpers, I don't even want to think about that, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, even just think of like what it was like for you as a baby. You couldn't do anything, right? Your parents had to help feed you, and they helped you with your poopy diapers, and then they helped you learn to walk and talk and everything. Man, if they didn't help you do that, whew, life would be, if you had to learn to do all those things by yourself, I don't know that you could. It would be so different. Yeah, it's just crazy. So Melissa, I'm really glad you got to join me today. You did a great job thinking of ways that our world would be different without helpers. Kids, how did you do at home? Did you think the same things that we did? Probably sometimes, but probably you guys thought other things too. I wish I could hear all of your good thoughts, because I bet you got some great thoughts that you could share out there. So I want you to really think about this conversation, kids at home. The next time you don't feel like helping someone, if you just feel like, oh, it's too hard, I take too much effort, I don't really like that person, it would cost me too much. I want you to remember what the world would be like without all of these people around who are helpers. And remember, the disciples of Jesus help others even when it costs us. All right, well, Melissa, I think that wraps up our conversation. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for talking to the kids today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Miss you, kids.
All right, we're going to go away, and we will see you tomorrow at the Daily Snack, where we enter into one of my favorite places in the universe, Club Dance. And we're going to get our dance on tomorrow. So join us again tomorrow for the Daily Snack. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Young man, always surfing, no waves.